Hello and welcome to another recap video with Justin Low Stocks. So I traded on Tuesday night. I didn't trade Wednesday and Thursday as I didn't wake up from my alarm once again. It's getting a bit frustrating, but so Tuesday I traded AYTU. It pre-market was dipping down, creating a downtrend, but just before the market opened, it had a bit of a spike and it topped up near where the previous day closed, which is a good resistance line to go off. So it reached that resistance line and it started coming back down pretty sharply, so I shorted into the failed spike at this level here at 52-53 cents area, which is very good as it came down very sharp, and I took my profits down at the 49-cent level, which was a nice 7% return in a matter of 3 or 4 minutes. So that was a good opening trade. I'll show you the daily candle. So you can see it basically came up at the beginning of the day, sort of to around the same level that it closed on the previous day, and that's why I shorted off that level. The next trade I took was SORL. This stock was sort of hovering low, creating sort of a bit of a downtrend, but again sort of around the 9 to 9:30 area, half an hour before market opens, it started gaining some buyers and pushed up in price. So it opened, it spiked high. You see this quite often, you know, 1 or 2 minute spike at the open. So I didn't want to buy. I could have bought in the break of pre-market highs, and you still would have within the minute, you know, made 30-40 cents a share. But I was already trading AYTU, the previous stock. So I didn't trade this in the first minute because I was looking at the other stock. But it was hovering down in this sort of wedge pattern, which I'll again explain in another video. But it's sort of like when the price action is tightening up, so you know it's creating lower highs and higher lows at the same time, and then it broke out here. As you can see, it came below, you see it making higher lows, and then once it broke below these trend of higher lows, that's when it faded and failed, and it failed relatively quickly from 9:36 to 9:45. So within 10 minutes it failed from 6:30 down to 5:70. I wasn't quick enough to get the initial fail, so I short sold in the little bounce. As you can see, the 2 green candles in a row, I shorted that little bounce. I wasn't expecting it to break this 9-day EMA, which again I'll explain that in another video. So shorted it into there, knew it was gonna, or had a good idea it was gonna rebound off this 9-day EMA, the red line, and then it turned around and it failed down. Now I got out too early. I was playing it extra safe. I got out at 6:04 and I short sold at 6:11. I just needed more patience to be able to actually ride this down the whole way to the 570 mark. So I only profited 1.2% when I could have profited about 6-7%, but that's part of it. If you take your profits quick and you play it safe. I'll show you the daily on this as well. So you can see the day that this thing just spiked, which is this day here. This is the day I shorted it. It just spiked. It was hitting a lot of resistance levels back here. As you can see, I'll draw a horizontal line. It was getting very toppy. And that's very overextended. It's gone from $4 to $7 in a matter of 3 weeks, so very overextended. Wasn't expecting it to hold its highs. The next stock I traded was HTBX. This was my one losing trade of Tuesday's trading session. So with this one, it spiked in the first minute over pre-market highs. it came up, it was sort of consolidating around this area between the 165 and the 162. Once I saw it break out of this level, I was holding it for about 4 or 5 minutes. Once I saw it break out, I bought into it thinking it was going to spike probably up to around these levels, 173, 175ish. It just it failed as soon as it spiked. It was a fake breakout, so it broke out. I bought it into the breakout, which it was only 2 cents higher than the actual breakout level. I bought into it here, and like I said, just turned around straight away and completely rejected, coming back down to 155. But I got out with a nice tight stop. It was a very good stop from me, only 4 cents lower, so did not lose much on that at all. So that's why it's sometimes good to play it safe. You know, you don't give the stock too much room to drop, because you never know how low it can drop. And here's a good example. It dropped double what my stop loss was, so that was a good stopping. But that was, yeah, my one losing trade. And then my last trade was on RKDA. I'd already made all the other trades, and I saw it starting to spike up, and it was climbing up my or scanner, I should say. So I saw it spiking. I didn't see it break out this point here. I didn't see that breakout point. I was trading the other stocks, but once I got past there, I was waiting for sort of a pullback and then break the high of that pullback, which is here. So it was few big green candles, and then this red one. So normally if a stock fails like this, when it's spiking randomly, it'll normally fail, and if it fails, it'll fail fairly steeply and then have a little bounce and then fail again. Whereas this one, it didn't pull back too far. Like, it pulled back a lot, don't get me wrong, but it didn't pull back too far to make it look like it was going to fail. So I was waiting for it. If it broke down the EMA, the red EMA line, or the VWAP, which is this white line, I wouldn't have been looking at it. But it didn't break those levels. It was holding the trend still, and then once it broke out from the 1 minute pullback, I bought in here around the 1080 level. And once again, I played it safe, and I only took 25 cents a share on this one, which for a $10-11 stock isn't too much, but you know, still green, still profit, which is what the goal is. So it's about 2% return. But yeah, I could have held this one out a bit longer as well, but it's all about trying to keep your profits once you have them, and not risk too much once you're up in the green. Like, you know, I could have risked it up to here, but you know, once it starts turning around, like, look at this 1 minute candle. This 1 minute candle would have made my win from 50 cents per share down to losing 20 cents per share in 1 minute. So sometimes it's better just to take the safe profits and walk away with a green day, which is what I did here. So I won't fall asleep tonight, which is Friday night, so I'll definitely be trading tonight. So I should have a recap video up tomorrow, or maybe over the weekend sometime. Thanks for tuning in, and I shall put out another video for you next week. Alrighty, take it easy.